Oh, hello. Welcome to BioTalk. My name is Seth Wahlberg. If I look familiar, it may be because you may have seen me on the cover of Science Journal, where I wrote about the similarities between hematopoietic stem cells and the quarter pounder with cheese from McDonald's. Today, however, I'm here to talk to you about something a little bit different. First, a question. What is one thing that both fatty acids and the original 3 Star Wars movies have in common? I don't know. What I do know, though, is that fatty acids, otherwise known as lipids, are a very important part of our body's constitutions. Fatty acids can be divided up into 2 categories: saturated fats and unsaturated fats. Saturated fats, specifically, are solid at room temperature and are typically nonpolar. Notice how I said typically. In some cases, saturated fats can go from a solid to a liquid. One example of this can be found in the common household product of cooking oil. If you've ever checked the ingredients list on a bottle of cooking oil, you may have noticed that it contains saturated fats. But saturated fats are solid, and oil is liquid. How do you go from solid fat to liquid fat? I had the same question. And so, through extensive amounts of research, myself and many other scientists have come to the conclusion that through prolonged exposure to high temperatures, fat cells can actually melt. The results of our findings show that fat actually works in a similar fashion to mercury. Mercury is a chemical element that, while solid when cool, is a liquid at room temperature. Fat works more or less the same, except in this case, the inverse is true. For example, I'm sure many of you have read, watched, or at least heard of The Wizard of Oz. In The Wizard of Oz, the main antagonist, the Wicked Witch of the West, melts into a puddle when she comes in contact with water. What's not so well known, though, is that her fate was loosely inspired by the story of Charlene Strickland, a 52-year-old woman living in the small town of Shrewsbury, Pennsylvania. On August 15, 1847, the town experienced an unnaturally warm rainstorm. Charlene, who just happened to be outside at the time, was exposed to large quantities of hot water. The excess fat on her body melted away, and the other townsfolk were reported to have made remarks on how much thinner she'd gotten. Now, I recognize that despite my overwhelming qualifications, some of you may not believe me. But that's okay, because today I'm here to prove it to you. All right, send him in, please. Thank you. This is Diego Chambi. He's an aspiring college student and one of the many interns that we employ here at the Science Corporation. He's also volunteered to be the subject for this test. My research crew, together with the development team, have created this. This is a state-of-the-art device which, when activated, will shoot Diego with superheated air molecules, quickly removing the excess fat from his body. Diego will enter the machine, and in just a few seconds, will return a completely new man. Let's start it up. Oh, would you look at that? The machine's finished. Now, I'm going to open the door, and we'll all witness Diego's incredible new transformation. Actually, why don't we leave him in there for just a little bit longer and give him time to really adjust to his new, slimmer body. Well, that's all I've got for you today. But before I go, I'd like to use the time I have left to say that we've recently had a spot open up for a new intern. That's right. If you've ever wanted to be a part of something greater than yourself, then look no further. Send us your application today. The Science Corporation, bettering knowledge one step at a time. This has been BioTalk. Thanks for stopping by, and have a good night.